What's up, guys, and welcome back to Rising Thrills. And this is a story of how Six Flags Entertainment Corporation may have just become a monopoly. And really, the reason they have become a monopoly, or the reason I think they have, it's not because, they're so big and they have such a huge market share in the market of the coaster industry. It's more of just, the power that they have, for lack of a better word, just to basically close down rides, like we have just seen with many of their parks closing down rides. And it's just, in my opinion, it is very crazy just what they can do, basically. So let's get into the story. So before we get any further in this video, I just wanted to say, I don't want to put any blame on any particular person, whether that be somebody in the Six Flags Entertainment Corporation or just anybody, because humans are humans. We make mistakes, we make decisions, and hopefully most people learn from those mistakes that they make. And, it's not really a big deal. Like, some mistakes can be big deals. They can threaten people's lives or, other things. But I just don't want to put any blame on anybody, because everybody makes mistakes, and this video isn't trying to blame one person. I'm just trying to, articulate this, just the scale of what this Six Flags Entertainment Corporation is. And at first, when I first heard of the merger and the merger went through, of course, they've been trying, Six Flags and Cedar Fair were trying to merge for a very long time. And even once they've merged, and for a while there, I didn't really understand the scale of how big it was. And me personally, I just thought that everything was going to be, like a utopia where, we have every park running perfectly, every park has every ride open, and every park, possibly add more rides, and every park just get better and better, which, some parks that will happen. With other parks, they may stay the same, or even, maybe get worse, hopefully not, but, it's just, nothing is ever perfect. Like I said earlier, humans are humans, and, decisions are made, and some of them are bad. So, just overall, really, what I originally thought this merger meant is completely different than what it is. And just the scale, like I said, I'm sure I'm saying this a lot of times, but just the scale of what this chain is, it's huge. And at first, I did not realize that. It's a lot huger than most people thought. And it's just crazy, the fact that this one company can change something, and it could completely, change or even put the amusement industry upside down. And it's really just insane, the amount of power, for lack of a better word, that this chain has. It's just massive, I definitely think we will see some parks closing, definitely after what we saw at Great Adventure, of course, many coasters closing. And really, now that this chain is completely merged, they have closed down a lot of coasters. We saw them close down 2 record-breaking Intamin accelerators, that being King Dakar and Top Thrill Dragster. This chain just has so much power, in my opinion, and really the fact that this is really a chain of many different chains. You have Premier Parks, you have Marriott Parks, Paramount Parks. You just have so many parks that really this is 4 or 5 small chains put together. And really, I don't want to say that this is a monopoly. I don't think it's a monopoly. It definitely has a big say in how the amusement industry will go. And me personally, when the merger was first finalized and when they first talked about the merger, of course, this is really the second time, or even more than the second time, that we've heard of a merger. Of course, I believe back in 2019 there were talks. But in my opinion, an accumulative error, for a lack of better words, where we just see things slowly spiral towards the merger. Of course, things like what Salim Basul did, which obviously, like I said earlier, I don't want to put any blame on Salim Basul, but of course, Salim Basul did make some mistakes. I'm sure Richard Zimmerman has made mistakes too. I know he has. But, really, I believe that what Salim Basul, like I said earlier, did has really spiraled towards the merger. First we saw, the prices going up so the parks would, be less crowded, which dropped the attendance, which really means you have less park spending, because you have less money coming into the park. Yeah, the prices went up, but really the prices didn't, justify the lack of attendance. And, that is something that led to the merger, and just other things that he did, and things that Richard Zimmerman did, and things that previous CEOs of both of these companies did. And, not even just the CEOs, I'm sure the board of directors and park presidents and everything, worked towards the merger. And it's just crazy now the power that this chain has. They could go through, and if they close down 2 rides at every park, that's almost 100 rides shut down, coasters. And if it's like what they did at Great Adventure, which obviously not every park has rides to the scale of Great Adventure, but if they did that at every park, or the coaster industry could drastically change, and for the better maybe, or for the worse, or it could be similar in terms of the innovation in the amusement industry. And I'm sure if they did go and they shut down 2 rides at every park in their chain, we'd see new rides come out, we'd see more innovation, which obviously is another factor of how this amusement industry, or not this industry, this chain has so much power that, really, if they did this, they could really force manufacturers, not force, but manufacturers would, come out with new ride models, because they know that all of these parks want new coasters. And I just think the scale of this chain is so huge. And personally, when I first heard of the merger, when the merger started, I had no idea how big this was. I thought it was huge, but nowhere near as how it is now. I think we had to see rides closing down to just think about how huge the scale of this company is. It's a huge company, one of the largest companies in the regional United States. And I just think that this chain can, they definitely can do good things. And I originally thought that since Cedar Fair was going to be more of the management, that maybe it'd be better. But honestly, now that I see what they've done, I don't know if it's better. We'll just have to see how it goes from now. Obviously, they'll learn from their mistakes, hopefully. But overall, there's not all things about Cedar Fair is good. I used to think, Cedar Fair is really good and Six Flags is bad, but really now it's making me think that it's not necessarily just that. There's good and bad things about both chains, and what I hope is that this merger makes the good things from both chains come together and just make a good chain. Or, we could just see good and bad things. But overall, it's just the fact that, people make mistakes, but overall and really change the amusement industry really forever. And that is why I think they could be considered a monopoly. Really the reason I'm saying this is just because I have a lack of a better word other than monopoly, because obviously there was an investigation by the DOJ, to see if this is a monopoly, and they came out with the conclusion that it's not, because really, Universal and Disney are just way bigger than this. Just Disney alone, is way bigger than this new Six Flags. But still, just the amount of parks that they have and the amount of coasters. Obviously, Disney has less parks and less coasters, but just the amount of coasters and parks that Six Flags has, it's just, they can change the amusement industry drastically. I mean, I guess even before the merger, each of these chains still could have drastically change the amusement industry, but not to the scale that it is now. It is just, in my mind, it is insane what this chain can do, closing down tons of rides. Obviously, I don't think they're going to close down tons of rides, but they could do that if they wanted to. And it could, like I've been saying many times in this video, it's probably getting repetitive, it can drastically change the amusement industry, really forever. But that's all I have for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.